Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy J Rock. Today I'm gonna be hitting you with another X-Men related title. We're gonna be reviewing X-Force. This is from, I believe, the end of 2019. It's written by Benjamin Percy, and the art is by Joshua Cassara. I read was the last X-Force I read was around 2010. So we're jumping ahead about a decade. So needless to say, it's gonna be a lot of changes as far as the characters on the team and what's going on story wise. Now at this time, something happened in storyline Hoxpox, so it's kind of like a good jumping on point. They kind of been rebooting all the X-Men titles, so we're just gonna jump on it, see where it starts, and go from there. For those of you that haven't watched my review videos before, I'm gonna read the story back to you, so you could kind of see what's going on, what it is I just read. So now once we're both on the same page, then I'm gonna kind of give you my final thoughts and review it a little bit. Okay, sounds good to you? Right here, if you haven't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, you will skip to the just the review part. Okay, so this starts off with some weirdo in a black mask and he's cutting himself up, and you're like, what's wrong with this guy? And he's bleeding, and we zoom out, and then we find out it's a whole cult, right? And all of it, he's asking everybody to cut themselves, and we're gonna check everybody's blood because he says we have to make sure all of us are pure. You know that none of us has that filthy X gene. Ugh, that's gross, right? We don't want any of that here. So as everybody's getting tested, Domino's here undercover and whatnot. She's also wearing one of these masks, so she gets made. We find out she's there. She's a mutant, and things are not looking good for her. Obviously, her mutant powers, she gets good luck, so she ain't getting any good luck. I don't know what's going on. I know if her power changed or it just didn't work this one time, but she gets captured by these guys. We jump off to the next scene, and the next scene we got we're in this island called Krakoa. If you're a longtime X-Men reader, you'll be familiar with it. That's this island. It's like a living island, and that's where the new X-Men, being Wolverine, Colossus, Storm. That's where they first made their first appearance. Was fighting this island. So it's nice to see this island's back. It's we're throwing some continuity in there, referring back to old stuff. And the whole X-Force team is there, right? And you see Kitty Pryde and the Marauders. She's leading this team called the Marauders. They're all showing up on this like pirate ship. This thing looks like shit. It's all jacked up, and she has a bunch of refugees with her, and she has her squad with her, the Marauders. Which the Marauders back in the days was a villain team. So I guess they're good guys now. It's not even any of the original Marauders. It's the X-Men team, but they're called Marauders here. So they're bringing these refugees to this island because it turns out this island is like a safe haven for mutants. So we've seen this done many times with Magneto's always creating islands just for mutants, segregate them from uh, the humans, right? So they can live in peace and humans can live in peace in their own area, right? So it seems like that's what we're getting here. We're getting a lot of segregation, like they got an island and they all just moved away there. Then we have Professor X and Jubilee are having a conversation, and he's wearing this like douchey looking helmet. That thing looks. I was like, what the hell is that? Like, why is he wearing that? Turns out this helmet is an updated version of Cerebro. Cerebro's this big machine he had back in the days. It's like a whole room tied to that helmet, and he would sit there and use it, and it would enhance his psyche powers, right? His mutant ability. So I guess he found a way to wear it and walk around wherever he wants with it. Yeah, that's another thing. Professor X is walking right now. He's not in a wheelchair. That's something I've come to expect from X-Men. They constantly change it. Sometimes he walks, sometimes he's in a wheelchair. It's comics. Comics are complicated. They constantly change stuff around. So he's talking to Jubilee, and Jubilee is this guy Joshua. I'm not a big fan of the pencils in general, the style, but here, even worse right here. He's not like paying attention to detail. I don't know if he's kept up with X-Men comics before or not. I don't know if this guy's aware, but Jubilee's supposed to be Asian background, right? I forget specifically what kind of ethnicity she is, but she's some type of Asian, and he makes her look just like a regular white girl, which I thought that was like, come on, bro, that's something pretty simple. You should get right. Unless something happened in between these 10 years of stuff I skip right now that I'm not aware of, this is not how she's supposed to look. But we do know now she's some kind of like, her character's a lot different. It's more developed now. She's not like a teenager anymore. So they're looking for Domino. That's why they got Cerebro for. They're like, hey, we haven't seen her in a minute. Where is she at? We're kind of worried about her. As they're talking, it turns out this island Krakoa, which I was wondering why are so many mutants there. Um, Professor Xavier, he's done with that Magneto plan. That Magneto has always practiced segregation. He's always gotten his own islands, and Professor X has always been with no mutants and humans have to learn to coexist together and get along, right? And it seems like he gave up on that dream, and now he's like, yeah, fuck it, let's just separate from them and we start our own country in this island. So they're starting like their own nation. They're getting their own government, their own police, their own laws. That's an interesting take on X-Men. We've seen it done with Magneto, but now we're seeing it done on a greater scale. I like the idea. It's pretty cool where we're going with this, but I freaking hate that it's Professor X, because that's for so long his dream has been to unite us, and now it's like he just gave up on that shit. It's like, come on, dog, don't give up on us yet, don't give up on us quite yet. So while they're doing all this, we got these terrorists in a plane flying above Krakoa. They jump down, they land, they just start shooting up the spot. They starting letting a lot of mutants have it. X-Force takes action, they take them down, but as they do, we see Professor X got domed. You see him just laid out on the floor. We already stopped these guys, and everybody turns around to look like, oh shit, like it's like our president, right? He got freaking hit. So he's there and he's dead on the floor. And this issue ends right there. It was a holy fuck type of moment. Magneto quickly steps up to take the spot of Professor X while we find out who we get hit by, who are these people, right? And while this is happening, we got Jubilee checking out, interrogating this other guy that they captured, right? He isn't gonna give up any information, but they got Jean Grey. Maybe she could pull it out of him, right, with her psyche power. They find out the reason they couldn't find these guys on the radar, they couldn't see the hit coming, was because they covered themselves in Domino skin, in like mutant skin, right? So how do they do that? They must have peeled it off of her, or duplicated it, or cloned it, or something. So now at least we know they have Domino. They're the ones that have Domino. The X-Force has figured that out. Now that Wolverine knows who did it, they got Domino and they killed Professor X. He's pissed. He takes off like he always does. He jumps into action head first without thinking or strategizing. And Jubilee and Jean Grey arguing why didn't they stop him. They're like, we couldn't stop him even if we wanted to, right? They're like, him, man, they're so barbaric and they're just idiots. Why not rush into everything? They go, but us, we're women with big brains, we strategize and we're more smarter. So when they do this, they're trying to figure out a plan, right? How to approach this situation. While Wolverine's already halfway there to where he needs to be, the location. This other mutant named Kid Omega, this is my first introduction to him. This guy's super lame. Like he's like their take on millennials. And in the 80s they had Kitty Pryde, and it's like their take on how they thought teenagers were in the 80s. Jubilee is their take on the teenagers in the 90s. And I guess this guy is the teenager of the 2010s. So X-Men always have a teenager every decade. They kind of represents that era, or at least the youth from that era, or what the writers think the youth acts like. So Kid Omega and Wolverine, they come across this lab, and they're seeing that they're creating a lot of like super soldiers. They're creating them from scratch, like these clones. And while they're looking around, one of them comes to life. They're fighting them and so forth. While they're fighting them, they come across Domino in one of these tubes. And man, she looks mutilated. Like they cut like half her skin off, and they've been using it to create clones with it and whatnot, right? So she looks worse for wear right here. Like she looks in critical condition. I don't even know how she's even still alive. The issue ends there on a crazy moment. So now the next issue, we are back in Krakoa. Turns out the mutants have like a council already. They have their own form of government, and it's all mutants because everybody there's mutants. But you got a mixture of villains and superheroes in this council, so everybody gets an opinion, and they all have to come to some type of compromise. Like Republicans, Democrats, that type of thing, where they're not gonna agree, but they have to meet somewhere in the middle. So we're right here uh, talking about what steps to take next, right? And Sebastian Shaw, he's trying to voice his opinion, and Storm just tells him to shut the fuck up. And I was like, I don't know, this guy, what's his name? Benjamin Percy, the writer. Storm, she wouldn't talk that way. If she was gonna tell somebody to shut up, she'd say it in a much more articulate or like elegant way. She's much more educated than that. So that kind of caught me off. I was like, Storm doesn't speak in like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I wasn't feeling that. But also, like all the mutants are good now. They're all on the same page, and now the villains are humans. Humans are the bad guys. All mutants get along. After the council, Jean Grey finds a way to revive Professor X with, I don't know, her powers and this plants or whatever, and he's like reborn. So if you were gonna bring him back so quick, like 2 issues later, like why'd you even kill him? Like I don't see what purpose it served for the story. Like what was the point of it? Man, we just kept him alive the whole time. I guess just for shock value, get people to like you see the way that issue ended, get people to pick it up, right? So he's been killed like a million times already in comics. So he's back again, right? Like death in comics is meaningless because they're back like immediately. So okay, so let's just okay. He's back alive. He's back alive. Now more importantly, the Domino part, they're saving her from this lab. Kid Omega and Wolverine. They go with Forge because she's obviously in pain. She has all this stuff done to her, right? Go to Forge. She creates these new weapons. They're kind of like a symbiote. They remind me a little bit of the Witchblade glove she wears. So he gives this technology to Domino. So it covers her body, all the mutilated half of her body, so she won't feel the pain as much, and it'll kind of help her heal quicker. This body armor, or whatever he gave her, it looks very weird looking. It looks very alien. It doesn't even look tech. It looks like alien, like from another planet. Much like Witchblade's gauntlet. Actually, Witchblade's gauntlet looks more tech than this does. Domino, Wolverine, and Kid Omega, they're out for blood. They're pissed off. They want to find these humans. And I believe Forge is on his way over there to meet up with them too. Now, this symbiote weapon, it's like a Green Lantern ring that whatever you think of, it can do. It can turn to a machine gun. It can turn whatever you want it to. So they find these portals, and they're like, once we cross those portals, we'll get to where the humans are. But humans, they got this, they know about all this shit. They know they're about to come through. So right when they're coming through, they shut down the portals. It cuts Wolverine in half. Half his body's on one side of the portal, the other half is on the other side of the portal. It cuts Kid Omega's head off. So it's a mess right now. It's a mess. Domino's like, shit, I'm all out of luck. Well, my power's not working. We're not getting good luck. Like, something's wrong with my power. What the fuck? So she's realizing something's wrong with her power. She's been getting bad luck lately. And it's funny here because one of these humans, they're walking by, these guys are dead already. And Wolverine comes to life and he starts stabbing this guy. The human guns him down, right? Make sure he stays dead this time. And that was, oh man, like, I don't know how great Wolverine's healing power is, but this guy's been chopped in half. Like, can you really come back from that? I mean, even Deadpool struggles healing from something that brutal, and his healing factor is much more stronger than Wolverine's. So that whole cutting him in half. What about this guy Kid Omega? His head got chopped off, so he should be just done, right? We don't even need him. This guy's so freaking annoying. It's like, all right, he's dead away. Let's get him out of here. Okay, so Forge goes through one side of the portal, gets Wolverine's half of his body. He comes back to the other side and gets his other half and just smashes them together. And he goes, oh, there, you're all sealed. Just let it heal. I was like, man, that shit is so dumb. Like, I shouldn't have even cut him in half. I think they just did it just to have that funny moment where he wakes up when the human guy is passing by, right? Other than that, there was no other point to it. Just to make a little pun, I guess, or whatever. But the more important moment here is Domino. They kill most of these guys. One guy, he's the last one left. He surrenders, drops his weapon, gets on his knees, and Domino's like, after all you guys did to me, you guys mutilated me, treated me like a piece of meat, and you think just because you toss your weapon, I'm just gonna let you live? She's like, nah, like she wasn't having that. She just lights this guy up, lets him have it, and then I think there was still another guy alive, and Beast tells her, don't kill the last one because we're gonna need information. We need to interrogate him. So they bring back one of them back home with them, right? So this one, at the end of the day, it was a win for the home team. You know what I'm saying? We walked away with that W. Now in the second part of the story, what the other characters are doing, being Beast and Jean Grey, they're going over here to there's this place called Tierra Verde. There's this president there that some mutants supposedly try to assassinate him. So we find out it was like a setup. It wasn't real. They weren't never really planning to actually kill him. It was just to make mutants look bad. When this happens, Beast and Jean Grey, there's less action in this story, more, but I feel like the story itself, this part is the more important part than the Wolverine stuff. Here they're trying to figure out why did they try to fake this assassination and so forth. It seems like the president was in on it as well, but why would he do this? So they go to his house, interrogate him, and he tells them it's because they have my son. They're gonna kill him if I didn't play along. We find his son, and it turns out the son was just he wasn't really kidnapped. He was doing it voluntarily because he wanted to force his father's hand. Like his dad didn't want to play along to what his ideas were, what his ideology was. He's like, maybe if I fake it that they're kidnapping me and it's their idea, not mine, he'll be more willing to do it for my own safety, right? So Beast comes up with all this, with this theory of his. They find the son. So at the end of the day, Beast is like, yeah, he's working with these other creatures and he's a traitor, but he doesn't want to tell the country because it will ruin the president's reputation and whatnot. Then they won't trust him, and he honestly didn't have anything to do with it. So they decide against it and they leave this kid in the hospital. He goes, anyways, this virus or whatever they gave him, they go, it'll rot his brains, he'll just die. That's what Beast thinks. But actually what's happening is he's mutating. He's turning into like some type of plant creature, like the guys that he was in cahoots with. Like he's becoming the same type of species or whatever. The issue ends there when he transforms. So he's still gonna be around, obviously, from the end of this issue. What do we think of this whole story arc and one of these whole first 6 issues? Let me take a swig. Okay, now let's get back to this story. What I think about it, man, I really hated a lot of this dialogue, the way characters spoke and things they were saying. I I was not a fan of that. And the pencils, I wasn't big into the pencils, but they weren't terrible. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the art. And I really liked the coloring. The coloring was good. I enjoyed the coloring. I think it helped the pencils a lot, so you could deal with the art a little more because the colors were pleasant. That being said, I did like the overall story itself, where it's going. It seems interesting. I like that whole thing with how they're starting a new nation with just mutants or whatever. I was like, that'd be interesting to see what they're gonna do, because who's gonna be their villains if they have their own country and so forth. But obviously, it's the just regular, plain old humans. Another thing I like is they chose this writer chose Beast as the leader of X Force. He's shaping up to be the shot caller. And if you know Beast, his personality is gonna be interesting. How he leads this team, because X Force is a team that plays offense, not defense. They don't go stop crime. They go attack criminals before they even commit a crime, because, well, you're a criminal, so we know you're eventually gonna do a crime again. So let's just go stop them before they even think of it, right? They take they're proactive, and that's outside of Beast's character. So we're kind of getting an idea of how he's leading this team, and that's what I wanted to see. What approach will he take? Because it is outside of his character, like I said. All right, guys, that's about it. So if you read this before or you watched this video, the read along, let me know what you thought about that story in the comment section down below. I can't wait for volume 2 to drop so I could I'm gonna check it out, read it, and drop a review on it. Other than that, I just like to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk about X-Men a little, and I'll see you guys all next time.